Hello everyone, this is Pharaoh Vince with Nation 473. Wanting to get into a topic that we were briefly discussing in my last video, and I decided to reshoot this video. Previous one had just so much audio issues that I wanted to go ahead and remake it. The whole point of this video comes down to how much value are you getting out of your attack percentages, and I did testing based on Doom Iron. In all of these particular videos, you're going to notice I use the same fleet, the same setup, and generally I'm trying to control one thing, which is the attack value. Although I do get a little bit of hit points in defense, it was 2% between some of these videos, specifically the third and fourth one. So when we start to look at this, right, we get 162, and then he kind of just stops dealing damage. That first hit does a fair bit of damage. And in this particular video, right, 163, it's one troop, which does factor into a fair bit of damage. So I do want to be transparent about that, but I don't think it tainted the data set enough for me to really worry about it. That one individual troop doesn't seem to have affected it a ton. So let's talk numbers. So rather than looking at this screen, we're actually going to go to our calculator where I did all of my lovely things, and let's talk numbers. So between the first hit and the second hit, you can see there at the very top, we're looking at 2.3%. The third hit was 17.5%, and the fourth hit was 21.2% lower, right? So these are all the percentages lower that each one of these are. And I wanted to speak greatly to that, because if you saw these numbers, you would think I lost 2% damage on the first hit. So I reduced my attack by 2%. On the second hit, right, I must have reduced it by about 17. The third one, 21. So let's talk about what those are actually representative of in my city. So the way I did this was I played around with extensions because I felt like it was the easiest source to reduce between each individual hit. So on the first hit, I actually reduced it by 12%. Based on removing this extension. The third hit, I re-equipped that piece of extension, and I went ahead and disabled the radar entirely again. Down here on this extension is the 2.3% that I missed when I was first doing my calculations. So again, there's that extra troop. And one individual unit is a lot of damage. So like, I don't want to discount how much that does discount it, but if you look here, that's 82%, 82.3 if you're being nitpicky, percent long range attack reduction, and I only actually lost, and a whole troop, mind you, and I only actually lost 17% damage. And then the same thing, I kept this unequipped for the third hit, and I went ahead and removed this again for a total of 94%, so this extension. And that one was the 21.5. So, all right, let's talk. Let's talk numbers. Because theoretically speaking, there's two things that I can tell you, right? First off, 2% for 12%, right? Obviously, that's a third of what I would expect to lose. I would expect to lose 12% because I reduced my attack by 12%. And keep in mind, I kept everything else the same. I removed Doc for any random chances, so there was no yellow hits. I removed anything that was a random chance. I did keep Imedisi and Tifa. Their active skills were going off. So I should, in theory, also have all of that the exact same across the board, minus, again, that individual troop. The Titans were there, but again, they don't have anything that would randomly make them better over one hit versus another. So what would I expect to see? I would expect to see 12% on the first hit, but that didn't happen. All right, well, since we know it's 2%, then clearly between the third hit and the fourth hit, where I am now getting that same piece of equipment, I should see 2.3% again, right? That should be the difference between the two, except it's not. It's 4 point, well, actually it's not. It's 3.7% between those two hits. So it's more value reduction at a lower long-range attack than it is at the higher number. So what does that tell me, right? What do I do with all this information? Knowing that the higher my LRA goes, the higher my long-range attack goes, the lower value I'm getting out of it, I'm noticing that there seems to be a cap, or at least a curve, right? And in a lot of games, a lot of tactical RPGs, we tend to refer to this as a soft cap and a hard cap, right? And to me, it feels like I'm pushing past a hard cap, or at least a soft cap, where I'm getting less and less value as I continue to go higher and higher in that number, right? I would expect to get this much value out of my attack, 12% in this case, but I'm definitely not. You can argue for a couple other damage sources that might taint some of these things, but even then, I just don't feel like 2% is explainable in any easy method. Of course, if you have any comments about that, please leave them down below. If you think I missed something, ask me, right? But this kind of comes into the experiment that I might ask some subscribers for help for. I would love to do this experiment across multiple different attack values, and not just my city. So the goal of the experiment is to not have too many, if any, of these random chances, right? Where it says your troops have a chance of doing this. I would prefer it if we can stick to things that always go off, right? So every 10 seconds, this happens, right? Every, I think it's 12 seconds, this happens, right? I don't mind those things. But then like abilities like, abilities like Katie's, where it says, again, have a chance. Skills like Maria have a chance. I would like to get the chance aspect out of that. So if your city has those, please, and you'd like to participate, it's not required, please do so. And then again, if you can just let me know in the comments what damage you got for your full hit, what damage you got for your second hit, and how much you reduced it by to get to that number, and just go that way. So again, it is, top damage, and then the second number would be the divided by, if you will, the secondary damage, would equal a percentage. So I need to know what that is. And then what percentage did you reduce to get there? Because I have a feeling that we're going to see at lower percentages, you're getting more value out of your long range attack than you are at higher levels, right? So when you're pushing the 1,000, 2,000, 1,200 LRAs, I'd actually expect this to get worse and worse as you go higher and higher in numbers. And I kind of am starting to expect that the lower the number is, the more value you're getting out of it. On my side, I'm going to do something dumb. I don't recommend anyone follows in my footsteps. I've decided, for the sake of YouTube, even though it might make my city weak for a while, and with this information in mind, I want to test it in the most hardcore way possible. And I only have half of my required setup to go mid-range. I am going to go 50-50. And then I'm going to run the same experiment again when I go 50-50, to where I'm going to attack before I equip all these officer buffs. So it's going to be after this, basically a week from now. I'm going to go ahead and do a series of mid-range attacks at whatever percentage I'm at the time. Currently, I think I'm like, 3 something? Mid-range attack 315. So I'm going to start it at 315%. I'm going to then add in the buffs. We're going to figure out what it is at full buffs. So I'm going to do 3 attacks at 315% with a mid-range formation. I'm going to do 3 attacks at whatever percentage I end up at the 50-50 with a mid-range formation. And then just for the sake of argument, I'm going to do a final attack, or final 2 attacks, one at 100% attack value and one at a reduction of attack value through equipment, just like you saw, I'm thinking of picking on like a 20% just to make it easy, to see what effects that has with a hybrid fleet, meaning both long range and mid range. I will not be using zombies. I will not be using random chance. I will still have the Titans in there because they'll cancel each other out through the hits. And they do kind of help me to keep the numbers stable with the Titan Shield for me in my city and the way it works. But that is my plan. So a week from technically yesterday's reset, we're going to go ahead and try to maybe do a little bit of a follow-up. We're going to see how this 50-50 thing works, and we're going to do it together. And then we're going to make a lot of 50-50 content, just to see how good it is, so that people can make an informed decision on whether or not they want to try this crazy, silly thing. And if it works, I will let you guys know. And if it doesn't work, well, I'm going mid-range eventually anyway, so I'm just going to keep going mid-range, and I will just be in an awkward state for a while. But I really wanted to try this. I don't know, I think it'll be fun. I at least think it'll be good content for a little while, and it'll give me something to give you guys as kind of my treat to the subscribers that I have as well, just for the channel. Let's do something silly together. And see how it goes. Please, again, do not follow me. So when I say together, please watch me do it, and don't try this at home, kids, because I feel like this is going to be a really dumb idea, but I'm hoping I'm wrong, and there's only one way I know how to prove it. So that is the major update I wanted to give everyone. Again, thank you guys so much for, coming to my channel. Again, I just appreciate it. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Just as an update of territory. Your guys' support's been huge to me, so I really just genuinely appreciate it. So thank you guys so much. Have a good rest of your day.